Hey guys, it's Hans Hobbies, and spring is here, and a lot of people have been watching my Tamiyas running around for the first time in a while. And this time, I thought I would talk about my Tamiya Hornet. I recently released a video of me fixing this. I put a new wheel on it, new body mounts, and I stuck a receiver in here just to get it running again. And this is a pretty special vehicle for me. I did a really old video, kind of painful to watch at this point, of my favorite RC car series, which I will be continuing at some point. But this was, I think, episode 1. I'll have it linked in the end of this video. But I talked about how this vehicle right here is what really restarted my love for Tamiya and just RC in general. Um, I've always loved Tamiya cars as long as I've been into the hobby grade RC, and I just haven't enjoyed I don't know, I just forgot about how enjoyable it was to put one of these together and to drive them until I got a new co-op job, um, like kind of like a paid internship a few years ago for school, and started making some money again and decided to pick one of these up, and it was just so much fun and so cool to drive. And it was really cool to experience something kind of this rudimentary. It's obviously way before my time. I was born in 97. This thing is from like 86. So we're from definitely different generations, but it's really amazing how someone from my generation is still able to enjoy this old little buggy in 2021. Who would have thought? And it's just an overall really amazing looking buggy, and just a really special buggy in general. Obviously, if you're really into really high-end modern buggies, this might not be for you, but for a lot of people, they absolutely love the Hornet, and I'm definitely one of those people. The person that really introduced me to the Tamiya Hornet is Ampro Engineering. So if you guys haven't heard about that, heard about him, I don't know how. If you're into Tamiyas, everyone's basically heard about him. But he's the one that really showed me about Hornets and really got me into collecting Tamiyas again. So naturally, this has a couple Ampro parts. If you guys saw the repair video, it used to have a Ampro body mount, and the reason I used to have that body mount is I also used to have the roll cage, the 3D printed roll cage for it. I still have it, but I don't have it on here because I accidentally bought the wrong one. I bought the one for Superfly, not for the stock body, so kind of a mistake on my part. But I really didn't like how the buggy drove with the cage on it. It made it a lot more top heavy, so I just decided to take it off. The only Ampro part on this right now is the um, battery tray cover and the battery tray mount, as well as the trans brace. They're all integrated into one piece, but the stock battery trays on these things tend to fall off pretty easily. So that's basically the only modification I would really recommend for one of these. Otherwise, it's basically stock body, obviously, stock wheels and tires. It does have the grasshopper tires in the back, not these standard spike tires. Because I do drive this mostly on the street and hard surfaces, I didn't want to wear out those spike tires. And then stock CVA shocks in the rear, ball bearings, um, and running the stock Tamiya TBLE02S speed control. It is running a 2.4 gigahertz radio though, and I don't even remember what servo I have in here. What servo is that in there? I think it might be just a regular like Amazon servo or something. But anyway, the stock Mabuchi motor is still in there as well. That lovely Hornet whine from that legendary transmission. Oops. Surprisingly, this actually drives a lot better than my Rising Fighter, which is more updated and more upgraded, like just stock, like out of the box. It's a more updated version of the Hornet chassis. But this one seems to stay a little bit more planted than the Rising Fighter. The shock setup on this is technically better, just by its geometry, not by the actual shocks. The shocks are definitely better on the Rising Fighter, and the tires on this also are much taller, so they also act like an extra bit of suspension as well. But yeah, it's a lot more stable to drive than the Rising Fighter is, a lot less bouncy, and of course, as soon as I say that, it flips over end over end. Here we go. The body on it is not the original body that it came with. It is a just Tamiya body that I got separately, brand new, with the MCI decals on it to kind of get it to my little paint scheme here, my little color scheme. I did build this completely stock with the stock decals and stock body for a long while, but I absolutely trashed that body. I really wanted to see how this thing would stand up if I drove it like an actual 10-year-old would have driven it in 1986. So I had the AM radio in it. I had I got a bunch of nickel metal batteries, all that stuff. No ball bearings or anything, and I just drove it completely stock, and it actually drove really well. I absolutely thrashed that body. But then afterwards, I kind of got over really bashing this thing because I have other buggies for that, especially like my Rising Fighter and stuff. So I decided to make this thing mostly a shelf queen. The body is taken a lot better care of now, especially that rear spoiler likes to rip off really easily. But yeah, I like to keep this thing a little bit more pretty compared to my stock one. I might get another Hornet at some point, who knows, just if I want to get one for a little bit more bashing. Sorry about all the airplanes today. I don't know why everyone decided to use their the frequent flyer miles on this exact day, but whatever. But yeah, I actually haven't broken anything on this, even after abusing it and all that. I drove it really hard. The only thing that ended up breaking was obviously the body. The wing got trashed. That's pretty common. And I think I broke a servo saver, but these Tamiya servo savers aren't the most durable, so that ended up breaking. But none of the Hornet specific parts really broke. To my memory. The body mount that broke was an Ampro part. The stock body mounts never really broke on me. Not to say the Ampro part isn't good. That's just how it happened for me. I broke that part a couple times. The battery tray, not the battery tray. There's a stick stuck in it. The little hold downs that are attached to the transaxle brace. That's really stuck in there. But the part where the body pins are on the Ampro part, that also broke on me. I think the only like Hornet specific parts that broke maybe were the front wheel, but again, that's not really unique to the Hornet either. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention is when you saw it flipped over, saw the wheel weights on the axle there. That helps lower the center of gravity significantly and helps this thing stay body side up a little bit better than stock. Also, if you don't want this thing to flip over a lot, even at like full throttle, I would keep the stock tires on it. The Grasshopper tires have a lot more grip, so it will make it go much faster, but will also make it flip over a lot easier. With the stock pin spiked Hornet tires, it will slide around a lot more than flip over. So the Hornet's kind of out of its element in the lawn. But it is still definitely a lot of fun. It's really not surprising how Tamiya is still making this thing. And with to introduce their XSE line, which is like expert built, but like no radio or battery or anything included. Essentially, it's just the kit. The stock kit just pre-assembled. They've released 3 of those so far, and One of those three is the Hornet, one is the Lunchbox, and then the third one is the DTO3 Racing Fighter. So it's pretty interesting that the Hornet is one of the like almost ready to run models that they've decided to release. Now I paid $100 for mine, but nowadays it seems like the cheapest you'll ever find these is without coupons or anything is about 140 bucks. But that's still a pretty decent price. You can get the pre-assembled version for $250, and then I don't even know if they make the ready-to-run version anymore, but that one is closer to $300, which is a lot for an old buggy like this, but it's definitely meant for a more mature crowd at this point. Most kids, just like how most kids aren't gonna want a Nintendo 64 or a Atari or something, most kids aren't really gonna want a Hornet. They're gonna want a Bandit or something more modern, maybe an Arma Typhon or something like that. But I am a pretty nostalgic person, even though this is not from my generation. It does really remind me of the type of cars I used to play with when I was younger. So that's why I personally enjoy it. And I just like old stuff in general. But yeah, I hope me talking about this thing didn't make people feel too old, talking about this retro buggy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna keep running this Hornet. Hopefully I don't rip my wing off. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoy my Tamiya videos or RC videos in general, you can check me out. You can also check me out on Instagram at Han Hobbies, all that good YouTube shenanigans and all that. Like, subscribe, comment down below, you know. You guys know the deal. And I'll see you guys next time.